Oh, is there going to be a dino battle?
Yeah, wow, this is kind of Godzilla-esque now, isn't it? Godzilla versus.
Kong. Well, hello and welcome back to the Shallow Proclamation with myself, Thomas,
Paul.
and we're watching Invasion of the Dinosaurs finale, which I'm looking forward to seeing how they wrap this one up.
Yeah, me too.
Previous episode ended very surprisingly with the appearance of a T-Rex.
Who could have seen that coming? Is that just the same shot used again from like the previous times we've seen the T-Rex as well? It's hard to tell. I mean,
Oh, is there going to be a dino battle?
yeah, wow, this is kind of Godzilla-esque now, isn't it? Godzilla versus
Kong.
Kong. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Come
I
on.
mean,
And then
I
the
have
next one will be Godzilla times Kong, and they start working together.
I have a feeling this is not going to look very good, but
No, I kind of like this.
I'm going to commend them for trying. That's not the worst.
Or is he going for the neck?
Surely, you got to go for the jugular. Oh,
Oh no.
a little bit of little blood there. Imagine Pertwee having to act this with nothing there. Oh,
Oh, tail to the neck.
that's
It's a very clever idea, this sort of spaceship. Make these people think they've arrived in a new world. Very sympathetic to the cause without knowing the truth.
yeah, of course, because they wouldn't recognize it as Earth, would they?
Yeah.
It's
It'd
an
just be like,
Earth-like planet.
oh, we're in a new colony or something. Yeah.
Yeah, not realizing everyone they knew was gone.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yeah. It's quite a small group of people, isn't it? And presumably they've got to
Thank God.
repopulate.
Charles Grover, please.
Well, I'd assume there are more people somewhere else, but the
Yes.
budget doesn't allow for that many extras.
Well, there, that looks like it's kind of in the space, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, because I guess that is all a model, isn't it? There, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Quite
it
convincing.
sits well.
And even things like the color grade matches these shots quite nicely.
That's relatively well done.
Yeah.
The brig in the shot there.
I like the low lighting here. It's quite atmospheric, isn't it?
It really helps sell the shot better, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
It's nice trying to show how the Doctor's not affected in the same way as everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, I was rather thinking of making a trip to Florana.
Where?
Florana. Probably one of the most beautiful planets in the universe.
Well, count me out.
It's always carpeted with perfumed flowers.
I'm not listening.
And at seas there is warm milk. And the sands are soft as swan's down.
No, Doctor.
And the streams flow with water that are clearer than the clearest crystal.
That's quite funny. The Doctor doing a kind of travel lodge, no, not travel lodge, trail finders hitch for a package holiday.
Dear me.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Interesting.
I think that sort of stuck the landing.
It did. It had quite a fun sense of the bad guys getting their just desserts. They transport themselves and their machine back to the golden age they're talking about, but no one else.
Yeah, given what they wanted.
Yeah, and that is very interesting actually that the freezing of the time didn't affect the Doctor in the same way as you pointed out. I like that because I don't think they've pressed, other than regeneration and the two hearts, we haven't really got much of a sense that Time Lords are kind of can do anything that different to what normal humans can do, other than super intelligence and that kind of thing. But they seem quite human in a lot of ways, so it's cool, and I like that. I like that because the Doctor is this kind of quite relatable character in a lot of ways. But I like when they drip in the sense that he's also very beyond anything we can understand So that was quite nicely done.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it actually, and I think for me it had that, obviously it's got themes, hasn't it, of the sort of ecological, environmental, like we said before, a bit like the Green Death. I don't think it goes, I mean, I don't think it goes too far in pushing that either. I think there's some interesting stuff in there, like with Yates and the Doctor saying I'm sort of sympathetic, but I don't think this is the way to do it, and I think, that would resonate still today, wouldn't it? With I don't know if you think what are the what's the group called who keep blocking all the streets and
Just
throwing
Stop Oil.
just stop oil and yeah, just
Yes.
throwing paint over things. You know, people may have whilst they can maybe identify with their the sympathize with their sort of aims and the bigger picture of that. Others, might say, but I don't think that's the way to do it. So, it still kind of echoes through into today
Hmm.
and bit of discussion there, a little bit from Grover, was it saying about the end justifying the means and the end doesn't justify the
Yes.
means. There's some discussion to be had around that. Nice little bit with the Doctor talking to the Brigadier and saying, it's not really the oil and all this stuff, it's greed.
Yeah.
Um,
That was powerful.
so there are themes in there that sort of resonate still. I think, yeah, so it's pretty clear what it's about. I don't, but I don't come out of it feeling like I've been bludgeoned around the head with it. So,
Hmm.
it's there as a sort of food for thought. Like I say, the idea of just of the end, does the end justify the means, and being able to sympathize, but maybe not wanting to go about things in the same way as someone else raises a good discussion there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such an interesting point, isn't it? That they're they're concerned about the pollution, but their solution they see kind of the current humanity as such a kind of blight, a kind of irredeemable blight on the planet that
Mm.
you need to do a hard reset. And and Doctor does name, yeah, no, there's deep greed in humans, and that's kind of a lot of our problems are, well, all our problems are kind of flowing out of that. But the Doctor doesn't believe that we should therefore eliminate everyone and start again. So it's really interesting, isn't it, seeing how those different worldviews interact.
Mm. And also, I suppose, like there was an element for me of sort of it's the sort of Noah's Ark thing, isn't it? Of
Mm.
the wiping out of humanity, but then actually the Doctor saying it's not this, it's not that, but it's greed. So actually, even with that group of people who have been selected, like that would still endure through.
Oh
Would
yeah.
it not just lead on to the same thing again eventually? That would spiral out. Um, if the problem is greed, what they're trying to do doesn't really deal with the problem. So that's
That's very interesting. Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I think for me, I've really enjoyed this story, and I think I came into it, like I say, not remembering it really at all, and just having this sense that it's often the one that's talked about as being, just remembered for terrible dinosaur effects. And I think, a few people have been saying in the comments that Barry Letts and sort of the producer of the time spent a lot of the years after Doctor Who, every time he talked about this, basically just bemoaning the dinosaurs and what the production team gave him, and how terrible it was. So I think I was coming into it with a sense that this must be a bit of a dud story, but obviously the dinosaurs aren't great. Some of it does work quite well. There are some good dinosaur shots, but a lot of it isn't perfect. Particularly the T-Rex is very poor. Um, but actually, the whole story around it, and I think the characters and the settings work really well. I think it makes it highly enjoyable.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and some really nice, as you say, location stuff mixed in there, which lends it an authenticity. The abandoned warehouse, the Doctor hiding in the bracken, um, and yeah, though the dinosaurs themselves are a little bit like, oh, I was impressed by that model shot of the London Underground with the Stegosaurus in it, because yeah, it felt like the model shot matched like the reverse shot of the Doctor and the Brigadier quite well.
Right, yeah.
That
And I
was
really
quite an
like the
impressive feat.
Triceratops
Mm,
shot with the Brigadier in the shot underground.
yeah. It
That
was
was,
almost like as the story went on, they found ways of doing the dinosaurs better.
yeah, yeah.
The fight between the two dinosaurs was very funny.
Yeah, I mean, and again, though,
Oh.
for the you taking it, you try and take it for what it's, what it is at the time. And I guess, I suppose some people will say, oh, you could definitely have done it better. That if you looked at other things at the time, I'm sure there are things of a higher quality. But, I don't think if you come into it determined to kind of crap on the dinosaur effects, you can easily do that. But if you're just kind of are happy to kind of try and look past it, I think they're perfectly sort of serviceable at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And what do we think about Yates being? I mean, obviously the traitor thing is a lovely twist through the story, but it's interesting that they sort of they kind of let him off, don't they?
Mm.
Is it extended sick leave and chance to resign quietly?
He's a Peter figure rather than a Judas figure. Uh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that they see it as yeah, he didn't completely. They're almost giving him a second chance, aren't
It's
they,
a slip
in
up
life?
rather than a complete,
Yeah.
disaster.
And I
Um,
mean, maybe they should have given him a bit more of a firm talking to, because I mean, he did almost help bring about the end of everything.
I mean, yeah,
So as slip ups go, it's a bad one, but I guess he was complicit in a wider system, and it would have been quite tempting for a lot of the unit lads to kind of be complicit as well.
interesting though that they were saying about this protective bubble around them, and they were saying, "Well, will it reach us here?" And he was saying, "We're on the edge of it there." And I thought it was interesting for him to say, sort of, "Well, he doesn't matter." So
Mm,
like he might blink into non-existence, and actually he's on board with that.
wow, yeah,
Sort
he's
of,
he's kind of got him bored with their ideology.
there's almost a sort of level there of obviously it's not the same, but that sort of idea of just almost like the suicide bomber, who's
Mm,
prepared to give their life up for the what they believe in, yeah. So I just thought that was interesting that to see the level he's been pushed to.
yeah, wow, yeah, that's quite deep. I like that. Interesting. Well, yeah, the Pertwee era is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Absolutely is. Yes, really is. So yeah,
And I'm
lots of good
intrigued to
stuff.
see whether Sarah Jane will stick around in the TARDIS. I, I quite like that. I'm not going in again.
Yeah.
I know this place that has flowers and beaches. I'm going there now. Want to join?
Yeah, it's quite nice to see the Doctor sort of trying to entice her to
Yeah,
come
yeah,
along and stuff. That's quite nice. We don't get a lot of that, do we? So
yeah, yeah.
um yeah, good stuff.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Let us know what you think of this story in the comments and our Discord server, link in the description below. And you can also join our Patreon, where you can get the full commentary track for this episode and many others. But thank you very much for watching.
Bye bye.